right, welcome to this Thursday night's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. We hope you are having a grand time out there. Hope a lot of you don't even have to go to work tomorrow. It is Good Friday, and of course we have Easter weekend. This is Easter weekend Sunday. A lot of churches are having Easter on Saturday too, so it gives you plenty of opportunities Saturday or Sunday to get to go to Easter services. Of course, this is all about the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and it's not all about the bunny. It's not all about. But now I'm a kid at heart. I like to go looking for those Easter eggs myself, you know. But I think it's getting to be a time way gone that kids like hard-boiled eggs anymore. I think they more along the lines of chocolate and peanut butter filled and all that. So, but you know, bring on the hard-boiled eggs. I love them. Hey, we got a great show for you tonight. We're talking fishing tonight, and we'll get you in the mood. I promise you, because fish are active everywhere, and I brought one of the local experts, one of our own Southern Woods and Waters pro staffers. Let's widen out and introduce Dayton Blair. Dayton, thanks for much being here, buddy. Hey, buddy. Look, he got a tan. He's been out there all day. He's been out no sunblock.
Miss Joy's gonna be mad.
You got to use sunblock, but don't put it on yourself, because then you get it on the baits.
Well, that's what I'm talking. You got to put something on that thing after you get done.
Messing it up. But now, Dayton, everybody's asking. And I'm getting bunches of emails and texts. What's going on? What's going on? Fish are active.
All of them.
All of them.
Everything.
Catfish. Now, I want to say this. Let's start off with catfish. Okay, let's just start off with catfish, because you and Jimbo and the kids went the other day when the water was rising.
That's right.
And y'all wore the catfish out on Priest.
Anytime a creek gets up muddy and the water comes out fairly quick, it washes all the trash out, and catfish, of course, is a forage fish.
Oh, yeah.
So that's right up his alley, and people are like, man, it's too muddy and too rough. No.
It's just right.
It's just right.
It's just
that's
right.
when you want to fish for them.
Now, what do you use, though? I mean, are you using a bait that stinks a lot?
Well, I use mainly shad guts. Unless we do something like down below the dam on a three-way rig, you know?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we'll be using liver.
And then I just let Joy fish, because I can't catch them on it.
But you know, it's just that time of year. Everything's getting ready to feed and spawn. The crappie are spawning. The bass ain't spawning yet, of course, but they're
getting ready. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are. They're probably at Center Hill. They might be one or two looking. I know they are in ponds now.
Yeah, they're in ponds.
I got a couple of ponds I take the kids to, and there's some big fat ones there, and they're probably done gone because of the moon now.
Now, Kentucky Lake, I understand some are already spawning.
Yep.
But I heard from several people, though. I got to talk to Alan Johnson at Chickamauga. He said there's Chickamauga, the big gals are still staged out. They haven't fully. He said they went in, and where they normally catch good size females, they caught 13 buck bass in this one area. He said that tells me right there the buck bass are in there. They're scouting. Females are just right on the edge, fixing to come in.
How big they are down there.
Oh my goodness!
It's just monsters.
But you know, if Chickamauga was doing it, and that's a little south, it's not going to be but about a week, and you're going to get that up here at Kentucky Lake big time.
That's right. Fish are at that time. I mean, everything's going. The weather's right. Today the wind picked up about lunch and it died back down. And them crappie just eating that minnow afloat every time you come through by any old stumps or anything, you know it's under the water.
Well, now, Dayton, we got a lot of crappie fishermen watch the show. All right, tell us. Let's talk crappie. Just talking crappie here. What depth do they need to be kind of focusing in on?
On the upper end of just any lake, supposedly versus Old Hickory, Priest, they're coming up in 2 and 3 foot of water. They're in knee-deep water. You know, they're from waist to knee deep, but you still have crappie that's out 8 and 10 foot. We caught some today.
Yeah.
And they're just staging back and forth to move up. To spawn.
So they haven't. They are committing, but not fully committed.
No, well, not yet, but it won't be another week.
Yeah.
I mean, you got about 20 days left of this kind of good crappie fishing, 25 before it's over with. If we don't get a big rain like we get every year and raises the lake up and messes it up.
Yeah. That's true.
But Old Hickory, they're catching them. They're catching them at Priest, Center Hill.
All right, let's talk about Priest. Priest is on fire right now as far as crappie.
Yep.
What should a man be looking for? Where should he be going, and where should he concentrate his efforts?
What everybody focuses on is something structure you can see.
Right.
You don't want to look and find any structure. You want to know what's under the water. When the lake comes down, where the rock piles are, where somebody sunk some brush. Because anything you see visible, somebody's done hit it 10 times.
That's a good point.
So your crappie are done gone. If you're not there at daylight, somebody's going to hit that tree 4 or 5 boats. It happened today.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I'm just looking for underwater structure that I know's there. Natural structure, natural stumps, natural rock piles, drops. In front of the weed beds at Old Hickory's where every crappie spawns at. That's a gimme. You take the rattling float and some of Hoppy's tubes and that 1/8 ounce head and put it about 2 foot at the most and just start going down the bank. And when you catch one, just back off because there's going to be more than that one there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just like today. Every bank we pulled up on at Priest with a float and a minnow pulling it behind the boat, we caught crappie. There wasn't, well, they're not here, they're not there. They're up everywhere. Everybody's catching
Now,
them.
are they together or are they scattered
they're
out?
Together.
They're together.
They're
Okay.
together. Now you're catching all three. You're catching black nose. We're catching black nose, specks, and black and white crappie.
Okay.
I mean, we've caught all the diversity of all the last few days. And then you're going to get 3 or 4 catfish in the mix on them minnows because they're spawning.
They're spawning too.
But we're going back to crappie, like you said. But anywhere mid-lake up is good. Old Hickory anywhere now because it's it's got bigger creeks, shallower water versus, mud, weed beds.
I'm going to put it to you quite frankly then. Let's take you for instance. You and I, we're going to put in Fate Sanders. We come out of Fate Sanders Marina, we get it through the no-wake buoys. Which way we going, brother?
You don't have to go nowhere. It's just it.
I mean, do we take a left or a right?
You don't have to go anywhere. You just
Stay right there?
You can just start right in front over on the gas lines, or you can go down into the Cuts or Sister Cove or Lamar Hill. There's 20 boats at Stewart Creek this morning catching them. There's not one spot. That's just it. You got to find the fish yourself.
Yeah. Now, how are you finding them, Dayton? So, are you just taking you and 2 or 3 guys and you throwing them out there on floats?
Well, it's just a technique that I know to do. That's it works. So once you start floating, once you find them, you can spin around and throw a jig back in there and catch them. And if they don't want the jig, you just float back and forth across them and catch them.
Okay, all right. And so what you're doing, but you're on the trolling motor and you're kind of just
pulling along going towards the wind. If I'm going with the wind, I'm trying to back the boat up a little bit. It's a little harder to go with the wind. Everybody knows that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But as far as going and catching a crappie, you put your float 3 foot deep in a minnow and go to Priest, you're going to catch them. Same way with Old Hickory, they're catching them off the docks and everywhere over there. Cedar Creek, catch them on an Alabama rig, a rattle trap, shad rap. When you start catching fish on crappie on bass baits, you better be there. That's right. And Daddy always told me, if you look for the red buds, the very first sign you see a red bud blooming, that's when you go to the lake. That's when you go crappie fishing. Daddy'd take this week and next week off every year and fish the week of Good Friday and the week after and just kill crappie on both lakes. And it's still going right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And if you fish at night, you got to have that right there.
Now, do you go fishing at night for crappie?
Absolutely.
You do?
We've dropped lights in the water.
Okay.
You can do that anywhere as long as you keep your running lights on. Pull up on one of the bluff ends or something, anchor down, put the lights out, or where you've caught crappie during the day. They're there at night. They don't move out. They don't leave at night.
So they're still in that 2 and 3 foot water?
The only thing that moves them is the sun and the pressure. That'll push a crappie out, just like any other fish.
Okay. I'll tell you what, hold on to those thoughts because we're going to be right back with more of Southern Woods and Waters. But first, we got to go visit some of our fine sponsors.